Good afternoon, folks. It's Shooter. I'm going to go over risk on, risk off today, February 9th, 2022. Course disclosures. Prior success does not guarantee future performance. Please print this and review this at your leisure. Now, even though we gapped a little today, we did not break above that speed line I'd put in there as a breakout line or a breakdown line. So basically we're pinned in between the 50 and 200 day still. Now with CPI, I've got a little bit of a push above the line to 459.70, maybe by Friday. But I think into next week we fade. Not a lot though. I mean, maybe $3. So unless we have a very positive CPI, I think I'm going to be able to move these speed lines out a little bit and say, hey, we're probably going to stay in that range for next week. Probably towards the upside, though, not necessarily to the downside. We sort of need to have a decisive break above that 50-day for me really to even get excited and look at chasing it. Because I still have this alt count sitting down here at 414. Anytime I have unfilled counts, I have a hard time getting a lot of conviction in the other direction. So specific things need to occur. Now we've gotten a higher low. So, great. We're probably going to put in another higher low here and probably a lower high at some point. However, my question here is whether or not we get this far to that 481 up there. I still question whether we break above this. There's a lot of resistance right there above the 50-day. We could get rejected anywhere. Once we put in this lower high here, this pattern to me needs to complete still. So I'm sort of sitting there. So I have this broadening pattern that I'm looking at that, I'm thinking we roll over from here. Even if we get up and put that 496, I still think we're going to roll over. And with how choppy it is, it's very hard to stay long and ride that out. You're better off sitting on your hands. Okay, let's look at the NASDAQ. Similarly, except for we're not stuck between the 50 and the 200 day, we're sort of in no man's land, but above the 50 day. So when it comes to the NASDAQ, we tagged this 368 today, so we should fade into the rest of the week. Then maybe come into next week, we get a push above that line is what it's looking like here. Now out of the lot, the Dow is looking very constructive. Once we put in that bottom, it had a clean count all the way down, clean count once we put it in. So, this too, if I did not have this risk off sentiment and what's going on in the Ukraine and pending CPI, I probably would have been chasing that today on a longer scale. So tomorrow, if CPI doesn't kill this, then I will probably look at getting long, maybe around the 360 range. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I still don't have a lot of conviction. So many counts have just been failing to the upside. All right, let's look at IWM. Now, if you followed my breakout line from Sunday on IWM, you're doing pretty well right now. Should back test tomorrow, maybe 204, and then head towards 207. Let's take a look at TLT. Now, I threw some 137s, but I didn't throw them in the room because I didn't want anyone chasing it, specifically on my sentiment, because I was thinking that it was going to meander until CPI. Once CPI comes in, hopefully it gives us a little bit of a push to, to take a shot lower and add. But at this point, I think it's just a slow grind lower to that 137, 139 prints. I'm hesitant to put that on, at least in the room, just because I don't have a lot of conviction that it's going to happen in a short period of time. And I don't want to go out till March on that, only because it puts more risk on the table than I want to with the cost of premium. So that's what I have as far as risk on, risk off. I wanted to look at a couple tickers besides that. Now, very constructive with Viacom. Get that CPI behind us and it doesn't kill us. I want to chase this up to, 49 range, which is a nice move here. So, I like it, period. And we also have some significant upside on this, once we get back up and out. So, that's the idea, is to try and trade this to get some longer term calls on there. You could sell at this point, but I really don't get a lot of conviction until we get above that B, 45.87. That's very constructive look. I think we're heading for that 339. Once we hit that, look at adding a breakout line there. I mean, I wish I'd get a better back test on the 50-day to get in there, but it's where we are, looking very constructive here when it was soft coming out. So, earnings weren't bad in my book. And not only that, they have a lot working. I don't know how much the metaverse is going to affect them, but that's another reason why I like this one. Nice steady place. You got a double bottom here off 8-day support. Nice, count coming out clean, diagonal there. I mean clean. I mean measured. Looking at our 2, if that's measured, and our 3, this will be a shallow count. If that diagonal is any indication of what the 3 will be, the 3 should become elongated and maybe be up here, about 351. Should push, I would think, because usually 3 is your longest wave. And here it's implying 3 is your shallower wave, which is out of the ordinary for the count. But that could also be because of how deep the drawdown was here. I really jumped the gun on this one, going out to look at the monthly. This thing's got some serious upside here. Covering the 17, maybe that was a little bit short-sighted because I might not get it lower. However, I'm looking for 17.23 on this back test maybe. And then, but at that point, I don't think we see too much lower than that. I would love to, get it at 16 again and roll into it. I just need that CPI behind us. I think we have a strong grind if that data is positive. If it's negative, I think we're going to be stuck here for weeks. So that's sort of my concern. But, these are the 3 that are outliers for me that look to be doing very well, even with market conditions. The only thing is we didn't really ramp aggressively today on this. It's just been a slow meander up, which there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you position yourself for that much time in your options. So hopefully this was helpful. Great trading. Until next time, folks.